Hello and welcome to Empower Your Future. What is your superpower? Your career in finance and economics. My name is Jackie Morgan. I'm the Outreach Senior Advisor with the Federal Reserve Bank of Atlanta in Nashville. And I'm delighted to be here with you today to talk more about you and learn about your superpowers, career paths in economics and finance, and preparing for your future. So we're going to dive right in and get started. If you have with you, hopefully you have a pen, paper, or something you can type on to take a few notes, because we're going to talk about you and your superpowers based on a really simple activity that we're going to do. So what I'd like for you to each to do is to write down which of these shapes best represents you and 3 reasons why. Are you the square, the rectangle, the circle, the triangle, or the squiggle? Take just a moment, write that down. You can draw your shape, write it, whatever works for you. And I will also want you to write down your 3 reasons why. Just some quick notes. Then after you have that done, I'd like you to turn to someone sitting beside you and share your shape and at least one of the reasons why you are that shape. Now, key things to look for: similarities, differences with the person that you shared. Maybe not, right? But let's find out, what does this shape thing mean? So this helps you to understand your personality type really quickly, depending upon which one of these you may have identified most with. So if you said, oh, I'm definitely a square, you're likely to be very organized, logical, liking rules, structure, and routine. You know how you want things done. If you're that rectangle, maybe you're pretty similar to a square, but you're willing to stretch a little bit and be a little bit more courageous, but you still like those systems and structure in place, but you do like that little bit of variety. And sometimes you can be a little bit disorganized. If you're a triangle, you're probably a born leader, very confident, goal-oriented, and you have that work hard, play hard attitude. Our circles are very social people. They like to communicate, talk out their issues, and they really like harmony. So they just want everybody to get along. And those squiggles, you are our creative types. You like to look at things differently. You get bored with that regularity. You're funny and expressive. So did you identify with your type? A lot of people will say, wow, I didn't realize how quickly I could figure out something just by looking at a shape. Now, this doesn't tell you everything about your personality and nail you to a T necessarily, but it gives you some ideas. I've had people ask me, can I be more than one shape? Certainly. What I find myself to be, I am a triangle with squiggly sides. I'm very creative, but I also am very goal-oriented and like planning and do that work hard, play hard. Those are some of my things. So you can definitely be more than one of those. But why is it important to know which shape you are? Well, a couple of different reasons. One is to know how you engage with others. So if you're thinking about working with others, you probably don't want all squares in a group together. You all will be very organized and very logical and have things a great routine, but you might not ever progress to that creative stage in getting things done. So it's good to have a balance of everybody in your group. On the other hand, if you just have all creatives, you're going to have lots of ideas and maybe never go to that next step, getting into that routine that a square would bring to you. So let's think about, how does your shape tie into your career, and why does that matter? Well, it matters because these are your superpowers. Each of us have something different that we can bring to the table. And I think that's the really neat thing about the shape activity. It helps you think about, what are you best at? One of the best things that ever happened for me was I went through a program that helped me realize that I don't have to be good at everything. I need to focus on those things that I'm really great at. And those are my superpowers. So staying within those areas, knowing that I have some weaknesses on things I need to work on, that's important too. But really focusing on what I can do best in can help me be the best in my career, personally and professionally. So let's connect your superpowers to potential career paths and how they might tie into economics and finance. So let's start with a square. So for a square, remember, you're thinking kind of inside the lines. You like logic. So some of the things you might think about being there: an economist, a financial analyst, maybe even a data analyst. So lots of things that you could do there. And we've listed some examples here. This is not an end all be all list. It doesn't mean that we can't go between the different shapes on what you might be, but this gives you some ideas on things that might work for you. Our rectangles, you might think about being a budget or a credit or an investment analyst. So looking at things that you can kind of stretch and really analyze and get into. Our triangles, you might think about being some sort of planner or an attorney, or even a branch manager or an operations manager within a financial institution. Our circles, thinking about how you can be a consultant and working with other people, doing investor relations, working in public relations. So our squiggles then, thinking about how you might be a trainer or a reporter or working with a client service specialist. Lots of different areas that you might fall into as well. So the great thing here, no matter which shape you are, there is a career in economics and finance for you. It's just a matter of kind of digging a little bit deeper and finding what those careers might be. But we've given you a great start here. And there's so many more out there. You want to hear some other good news? The other great news is there is great growth potential in this area. We're looking at about 8% growth potential for jobs that are within business and financial operations, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So there's a website at the bottom of this slide, bls.gov. It gives you great data about the economy and what's happening. And we'll show you a little bit more about it here in just a moment also, so you can see some additional data. So let's talk for a minute just about an example of some of the jobs that are available out there through organizations. So for example, I work with the Federal Reserve, and we have offices across the United States that focus on, we need everybody with all different backgrounds to help us make us work. So one of the things that we do at the Fed is we conduct the nation's monetary policy. Another thing is we help to maintain financial stability in the economy. And you can see there across the top of the screen some of the other things that we do related to supervision and regulation, payment system, and consumer protection and community development. I'm going to focus some here on the Southeast in just a minute, because we're down where that number 6 is here in the Southeast. Part of Tennessee, or 2/3 of Tennessee, is covered by what we call our Atlanta Federal Reserve region. The other third falls under the St. Louis Fed. The Tennessee River is our dividing line as we go towards the west from Nashville. So let's think about, we have all of these opportunities across the United States. Who's being our leaders? And the exciting thing is we have lots of women in leadership positions that are great role models for us here at the Fed. So we have out west, Mary Daly, who's with our San Francisco Fed. If you have a chance, you might check her out. She is an amazing success story. She was actually a high school dropout, decided to get her GED, and then went on to be a PhD economist and now leads our San Francisco Fed. You know, just because you have one stumbling block doesn't mean it's a failure forever. She's a pure example of how you can pick yourself up and move on to great things. Our other women that we have here, so 2 women who are over on the right-hand side, Lael Brainerd and Michelle Bowman, are at our Board of Governors in Washington, D.C. So they serve on our monetary policy making board and help make key decisions. Noreen Hassan is the first vice president at the New York Fed and one of the highest ranking women at the New York Fed. And so she is second in leadership there. So great opportunities. Our other folks, Loretta Mester at Cleveland Fed, Esther George at Kansas City, and Meredith Black, all are serving either as the president or the interim president. So we have great role models for us serving in leadership roles at the Fed. Also within the Atlanta Fed, we have a number of women in the senior ranks also. And you can see a good bit of diversity at the Atlanta Fed. I'll share, I've been at the Fed for 23 years now, and we've changed a lot in that time, which is really exciting. We've become much more diverse, and the people that we're seeing in our senior leadership ranks and different opportunities throughout the organization has been a wonderful way for us to grow and give more people opportunities. So let's talk about the careers that we have available at the Atlanta Fed to give you an idea, again, about what's available within the financial industry. And at the Atlanta Fed, we have about 1,700 employees that work across the Southeast. The majority of those are going to be in Atlanta and also Miami, a fewer staff in the New Orleans and Jacksonville, and very few staff in Nashville and Birmingham. In Nashville, we only have 5 on-site staff. We've consolidated all of our operational things into Atlanta. So in Nashville, all we do is outreach and data gathering. But that doesn't mean that we don't need those other financial positions in our roles as well. So you can see listed on the screen here, we have a variety of different divisions. So everything from audit to information security, to research, to risk. So lots of things that can go in there. So no matter which area you might fall into, we need your skills at the Fed and in the financial industry and working in finance and economics. So thinking about that, just because you might be that squirrel that's creative, we still need you. For example, we have staff writers. We have people who work on our websites. For those people who are really into data security, that information security stuff is for you. Helping with cyber crimes is something we really need to work on and focus on these days. So how can you learn about preparing for your future and learning about careers? There's a lot of great career exploration tools out there. Your teachers can help connect you to those. Another great tool that I love seeing used is informational interviews, because sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And informational interviews help us find out more details. So you could learn that somebody does a specific job. For example, for me, I'm an outreach senior advisor. You can set up an interview with me to learn more about my job so you can understand if it's something you might be interested in the future. So think about that for other people that you may have come into contact with. So you may not know what an insurance broker does, or an actuary, or an economist. And so maybe seeking out somebody to learn more about that role to see if that's a career you'd like to pursue is a great way to see, yeah, this is my career path, or maybe not. The other place you can go, and I mentioned the Bureau of Labor Statistics a bit ago, is bls.gov/OOH or jobsfortn.gov. These are great places to learn about careers. What are their growth rates? What kind of skills do you need? What kind of soft skills do you need? So those are all really important to help you understand, are they a good fit for you before you go down that road? And then think about preparing for your future. Your school involvement is really important. So thinking about those extracurricular activities that you're involved in, if you're involved in sports, if you're involved in student council, FBLA, FCCLA, any DECA, any of those are great ways to help you prepare for your future. Looking at internships to gain experience, credentialing. So if you can get any of the credentials, so thinking about Word and Excel and the Microsoft package, in a lot of our CTE classes, there's an opportunity to do that. And then something we call networking, and that's getting to know people and connecting with them and understanding about their jobs and helping them understand about you. Networks are the greatest connections to help open doors for you in the future. So that takes us to the end of thinking about your superpowers. I want you to, my information is here on the screen. You can feel free to reach out to me if you'd like more information. Connect with me on LinkedIn. Tell me that you watch this online, and I'd love to connect with you that way. And if there's any other questions that we can answer for you, I'm excited to learn more about what your superpower is. Have a great day.
Students of economics think deeply about the world around us. From issues of climate change and the environment to immigration, healthcare, student debt, and social justice, all of these major themes of our times require rigorous economic analysis that enables us to make policy and informed choices. Students of finance grapple with real-world questions every day, such as, how do I make sound financial choices? How can I attain financial independence and retire rich? What steps should I take to manage my student debt and personal finances? What is the stock market? Can interest rates be negative? How can I help others manage their money? And how can I manage and hedge risk? The study of finance develops multiple skill sets and requires both analytical skills as well as creativity. The discipline presents plenty of career opportunities both in the U.S. and abroad and offers you a great chance of success after graduation.